Welcome to another historic episode of Cannabis Legalization News. This one's about New Jersey. If you're joining us from New Jersey, please give us those likes and subscribes and click the bell because there are going to be 6 different types of licenses coming to New Jersey in 2021. Actually, we're not really sure. Well, those 6 types are definitely coming, but we aren't sure when the license windows will open. As you can tell from the title of this video, there are 37, I'm not sure how to do that one on my fingers, cultivation licenses coming online in the great state of New Jersey. And then there was some conditional aspects of it. So this morning I get up and I hear that news and I'm like, that's great. We have to do some content about New Jersey. There's going to be a huge opportunity. If you have not checked it out yet, how much does it cost to open a dispensary is a video I uploaded yesterday. I believe New Jersey's will be somewhat in line with that, especially in the limited market end. And it's a limited market end because there will be a commission that will establish how many dispensary licenses are out there. So if you are joining us from New Jersey, thanks so much. Congratulations. You are going to have a way more chill 2021 than you did 2020. Not that that's that hard. And so now I want to get into 2 aspects of the law. We're going to do 3 of them because there was actually some comments as well to the actual bill. We're going to go over the 6 different license types. We're going to go over the actual bill. We're going to go over some commentary from the bill, but we want to start with a 30,000 square foot, 30,000 foot aerial view of an outline of the general tenets of the actual law that was passed. It was called the Cannabis Regulatory Enforcement Assisted and Marketplace Modernization Act, which next goes to Governor Phil Murphy for his expected signature. How New Jersey starts to approach these may send signals for how Pennsylvania and New York also do. Let me just get one pitch in there. Look to well, Michigan does it. And I don't like what New Jersey's doing. I think they're going the way of Illinois and Arizona, where you're going to have those limited market states. And check out that how much does it cost to open a dispensary video that we did. And to do that, just give us a like and subscribe. We'll come up in your feeds. Now, let's get to his name is Stephen Shane. And I want to give a shout out to Stephen Shane. I saw this article of his on LinkedIn this morning. So if you're not following him, head over to LinkedIn and follow Stephen Shane. And then you can follow me. You just go to LinkedIn, and then on the search bar right here at the top, you could search for Thomas Howard Lawyer. I should be the first one that comes up. So on December 17th, which was yesterday, by the way, New Jersey lawmakers approved the Cannabis Regulatory Enforcement Assistant and Marketplace Modernization Act. I wonder what that one becomes. CREAMMA. Seriously? Cream, CREAM. Method Man, or I'm sorry, the Wu-Tang Clan was involved in naming the New Jersey law, the CREAMMA. So it's crema or cream. Anyway, so that's expected to be signed by Governor Phil Murphy. And under the timetable, hopefully this will stick. It's going to be 180 days from enactment or within 45 days of the Cannabis Regulatory Commission members being appointed. That's right. There's going to be a commission. There's going to be members. We don't know how many dispensary licenses will be in the Garden State. Now, and then it also talks about New Jersey's decades-old marijuana program, which is amazing that New Jersey's had medical marijuana for a decade, and they only have 95,000 patients, despite having a population of 9.24 million. And then who are the alternative treatment centers? Again, they went too big. And so they only have like Acreage, Columbia Care, Curaleaf, Green Thumb, Ianthus, Terra Ascend. These are the big MSO players. But let's talk about what's going to be happening coming with the new year and New Jersey's legalization of cannabis. Again, let's be clear on that. They are changing the term from marijuana to cannabis. I believe that's what it was. I think it was medical marijuana in Jersey before they created this new term of art, cannabis, which is quite popular in the legalization movement for obvious reasons. So 21 years and older could purchase an ounce of cannabis or 5 grams of concentrate. After the rules were enacted, existing ATCs, which are the medical providers, can begin adult use sales. Hallmarks of Illinois, the current operators are given a monopoly at least for the first year. And at least in Illinois, they actually spoke to licenses being handed out. They just haven't been handed out yet because of the competitive nature of the state, as opposed to making it a regulatory threshold and then a municipal licensure system, which is really that's what I recommend. State threshold for regulations, municipal licensure system, because that municipality knows if they want another grower or if they want another cannabis lounge, just like they know if they want another bar. And then there's some taxes, of course, a 7% sales tax, and municipalities can put up to a 2%. And then there's an excise tax on cultivators. 70% of the sales and excise tax revenue will support legal aid, healthcare, and mentoring programs in minority communities disproportionately affected by the drug war. That is huge because you see, this creates a cash flow, and that cash flow is going to go straight to where it's needed most, because that's where the drug war was actually causing these disproportionate harms. That's really great. That in and of itself is social equity. Social equity when it comes to the money. I mean, 70% of sales and excise tax, if that's the actual correct number, that's really good. That's better than Illinois did. So all prior municipal marijuana operations prohibitions are voided. There we go. We have the auto expungement. This happens. This is a great bill in the sense that it has the social justice aspects to it when it comes to tax, and it also appears when it comes to expungements. Retail stores are statewide, but jurisdictions can ban them. This happens pretty much in every one. They can opt out, and many of the more square areas will opt out until they see the tax revenue, and then they're like, I like that tax revenue. Okay, retailers can allow on-site consumption. That's pretty cool, as long as they have local approval, very similar to Illinois. And then there's the CRC, the Cannabis Regulatory Commission. This is where the power brokers are really going to be. They grant the licenses to the growers, the processors, the wholesalers, the lab tests, facility distributors, delivery service, and retailers as determined by customer demand. You see, now they're also going to be like OPEC, charting the demand for cannabis in New Jersey. I'm a fan of these commissions in the sense that they help the industry, grow. I'm not a fan of these commissions in the sense that they present opportunities for corruption. Because the finite number of licenses and the very real cash flows that are in those licenses can create opportunities to be less than honest in the scoring and the awarding process, which is one of the reasons, again, why I support state standards, where if you pass this threshold, then you're eligible. Take it up with the municipality if they want you. Now, they will also say 25% of licenses will go to micro businesses, capped at 10 employees, and include additional residency requirements. That's really cool. That basically means that 25% of this industry is going to be accessible, hopefully, to mom and pop enterprises. A micro business can still be quite expensive. We will be doing an episode of how much does it cost to start a micro business. Very often these licenses are 100 to 150 plants. They are kind of like a craft brew where, you have a tasting room, kind of like, you make the beer there, you drink the beer there, you taste the beer there. Sometimes you can take the beer home. I went to school in Milwaukee. Can you tell? Can you tell that I went to law school in Milwaukee? But this would be similar. However, it would be a cultivation and then a tasting, and then also you could take the wares home. Wonderful idea. And that's really how you put the illicit market out of business. You allow these to be there and to operate. How it's going to play out, let's see. Because very often you have NIMBY effects when it comes to these types of things. And by NIMBY, I mean not in my backyard. Some operators want to open in a place, but some people are like, it's going to smell because, that's terrible. Then don't open up a fish restaurant. It's also going to stink. Anyway, I digress. So 15% of the licenses will be reserved for minority-owned businesses. That's really interesting. See how they define a minority-owned businesses, what percentage must be minority-owned. Seattle caught some flack with that, with Sean Kemp saying that it's a black-owned business, but you own like 10% or something, or 5%. 15% of licenses are reserved for businesses owned by women or veterans. That's great. So right now we have, that 25% and the 15%, they might be Venn diagrams that overlap. Okay. And so then 35% of licenses in each category would be conditional to make the process more accessible to lower income applicants. Now, these are fine, but they become difficult. And that's one of the reasons why, if you go to our blog, cannabisindustrylawyer.com, we like to start and then go to get started to tell us about your cannabis business, especially if you're in New Jersey. And you can fill out our form on that. That'll lead to my law firms, or I could just call it my firm, because we do also offer a lot of consulting services, collateral base, and then it'll go into our lead management system that we have there. So these conditional types of licenses are trying to make them more accessible. However, it doesn't mean that you don't need the money. It doesn't mean that the regulations they're going to be given a pass on the regulations. And because of that, these buildings, it's a capital intensive industry. And so we start you by saying, okay, let's talk about your valuation of your enterprise, and then let's get that business plan, which will be required in your application for your license. And then let's talk about how you can actually lawfully raise that money, hopefully within the community that you are serving. And that's all designed to try to keep the costs down for these applicants. In Illinois, they're called social equity. Here, it'd probably also be social equity, the lower income applicants. And then there's an application scoring priorities. 25% of the total licenses will be awarded to applicants employing 25% of individuals from impact zones, negatively impacted by unemployment, poverty, or past marijuana enforcement. Residents of at least 5 years holding at least a 5% investment in interest in the entity. They also did require labor peace agreements unless you're a micro business, because micro businesses only have 10 employees. Could they unionize? Yeah, I guess maybe, but that ownership is probably going to be more of a family ownership. Or one of the nice things that they can do in this industry is they can use trusts and ESOPs and whatnot to allow for employee-owned businesses. And they will also create an Office of Minority, Disabled Veterans, and Women Cannabis Business Development, promoting marginalized groups and inclusion. That's fantastic. Hopefully, the diversity of the New Jersey cannabis market will reflect the population in which it serves. That is a very welcoming thing. And the cannabis industry is one of the most welcoming industries that I've been in. And it's just fantastic, the opportunities that are out there. So let's now kind of dive into the actual bills in and of themselves. We can go over the types. They have created 6 different classes. And the bill itself was 200 pages, 204 to be precise. And then also they have a statement. And the statement was very similar to what we just went over with the large tenets of the actual bill in and of itself. Some of the things that we need to know is how many licenses will be given out for cannabis retail. We don't necessarily know yet. We know that the commission shall determine that. And then each one is a class, okay? So the retailer license is class 5. So the class 5 retailer license, and then they also have some carve-outs for some delivery service licenses. We'll get into that in a little bit. Let's talk about the class 5, the retailer license. The commission shall determine the maximum number of licenses, of which 35% shall be conditional licenses, which, those conditional licenses, those are for the lower income entrants, which probably will also be more of the social equity aspects of it. So New Jersey has gone further than any state that I've ever seen in actually cleaving out the number of licenses in the statute itself for particular areas of the marginalized and socially impacted. How this is going to play out is going to be a fairly fascinating, experiment in New Jersey's regulatory scheme. It's going to be quite exciting to see, but this commission is going to determine the number of licenses. How many licenses will be in New Jersey? We don't know. But to hold one, then they have the requirements under this area of it. So you have to apply for the license. At least one significantly involved person who's resided in the States for at least 2 years. Here we have residency requirements. So they are preferencing not just those types of classes of New Jersey residents we've already talked about, but all New Jersey residents when it comes to ownership. And they have to meet requirements by any rule adopted by the commission. So let's be on the lookout for these rules over the next 6 months, or after 45 days, I believe, after the commission was appointed. So we're going to see who's being appointed in the commission and then what the rules look like. There'll be a public comment period. And then we'll really know how the cannabis applications are going to come down, and then how many licenses will be on the table for the New Jersey people. And then they have to do the background checks for holding less than 20% investment. other than an owner who holds less than 5%. So that's the threshold. You'll see a lot of twos and fews in ownerships, it looks like, if they don't have to have a background check unless you own more than 5% of the ownership. And then they're going to submit to fingerprints and whatnot and criminal background checks, because not all crimes are committed equal. And so some of these, they actually talk about being arrested for a crime doesn't necessarily see. It's like the commission shall take no consideration in any prior conviction unless we're indictable under federal for conduct involving cannabis. So that's always a question that you get. Like, can a felon get a license in a particular jurisdiction? New Jersey's approaching this, especially when it comes to cannabis. If the felony was a cannabis crime, it appears that is okay. And then it also depends on like how long it's been since your crime, and also the type of crime. You know, dishonesty crimes and violent crimes are the ones that you very often see as preclusionary for getting that fee. All right, we've dove into Class 5 enough. One of the nice features about this is you can just then go for Class 1. Let's see what the Class 1 licenses are. A Class 1 cannabis grower license. Oh, I can't wait for us to talk about this one. And so let's find the larger one about it, because then there's definitions and all that. Now, here we are. We are in Class 1, cannabis grower cultivator license. A cannabis grower or cultivator license will have a Class 1 license. 35% of them shall be issued pursuant to the conditional, so same types, except otherwise provided herein concerning cannabis cultivators issued to micro businesses. Micro businesses will have slightly different regulations, and so that will affect the cost of having that type of micro business. And then also the application for the micro business will probably be a little bit more streamlined as well. It'll cost less to put together and to do. It'll still be quite expensive. I mean, putting together a micro grower license and like, you know, the facility and the edifice and being like, here it is, it's still going to be at least $1 million. I wouldn't want to see one that's under that, but you know, anyway, so to hold the Class 1 grower license, the applicant needs to, you know, of course, apply, and then it's got to have at least one significantly involved person who has resided in the state for 2 years. So they probably define what significantly involved is. But that probably means equity and some threshold amount of equity or some threshold amount of contributions that they've given. Criminal background checks, same thing with 5%. Federal, and then very, very similar. So each one of these will probably have something that will then define the actual class. And I bet if we had, it'll be like business license in there. If you go into the definitions, you'll probably see each one of the classes, but then we'll just go to Class 2 and see which one that one is. That is your processor, AKA your manufacturer's license. And that manufacturer's license would be stacked. So if you're trying to be vertically integrated, you'd get the Class 1, you'd get the Class 2, you'd get the Class 5. But let's see what Class 3 is. So the manufacturer, I'm assuming it's going to be, you know, same stratification of the awards of who gets what types of licenses. And then also, there you go, somebody who's been in it for 2 years. And then, of course, the background checks for everybody who has more than 5%. And then depending on what type of felony, you may or may not be disqualified. There you go. And so let's move on to Class 3. Class 3 is the wholesaler license. All right, so now these are probably close to the distributors. And so you're a grower, you would sell to the wholesaler, and then the wholesaler would be like very often like the liquor distributors who are selling your beer to the actual retailer in and of itself. Class 4, distributor. So there you go. They've actually cleaved off the wholesaler from the distributor. Seeing those business models and supply chains coming together will be something that'll happen to see how they interplay. But the distributor is now transporting the cannabis from point A to point B. Commission for the premises from which cannabis will operate operations. Micro business isn't really going to need that because micro business will probably be getting rid of its supply on site, more of the 70-30 type style that you saw in Colorado, like 10 years ago. Class 5, retailer. Class 6, delivery. Retail. Class 5, delivery. Cannabis delivery service shall have a Class 6. This will conduct operations to provide courier service. So these are more of a fulfillment, kind of more like Uber and or DoorDash or Grubhub, because that driver has a contract with the restaurant, and so like that driver will have a contract with the retailer. This isn't like in Massachusetts where you see the delivery operator license. That one, it doesn't appear to be the thing. You would have a contract with the dispensary and then be the last, little service gap that you would courier it to. And which services include the ability of a consumer to purchase the cannabis directly through the cannabis delivery service, just like how you can buy it from Grubhub, but you're not really buying it from Grubhub. And then it actually is fulfilled by the restaurant that was listed on Grubhub. So this would be an interesting business model, very cutthroat. This is going to be their software one where everybody is going to want to have this license, and then you'd list all the dispensaries on there, and you could be like selling from any dispensary, man. It'll be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see. But having a delivery license, especially for people that, I bought my groceries online yesterday. Kroger just showed up. And then I got to work on some trust docs as opposed to standing in line and stuff. Anyway, we've more or less gone over a fairly deep dive in about 20 minutes, the overarching structure, and then the 6 different type of commercial licenses that are coming for 2021 in New Jersey. If you would like, let me move that and put that over here. That should have done something over here. Great, yes. If you'd like our help on your application, and then the way that I really would say that you guys get ready for this is that you get your financials in order, figure out what your cash flow abilities are, because the people that are going to be able to help give you that financial capital that you are going to need to operate in this industry, they're going to want to see the cash flow opportunities. And they're also going to want to see the ownership and the equity. And so we say, start with the pitch deck, get into your business plan, make sure you have your PPM aspects in line and in order. And if crowdfunding is available in the state of New Jersey, we'll be finding that out because the crowdfunding is available in Illinois, so we can help that out. But we can't necessarily do it because it's on a state-by-state basis. It's illegal. I mean, like federally, it's illegal. Thank you for tuning in to Tom Explains to You why the federal laws, they're unconstitutional, but they're still there. They're still there, unfortunately. Okay, so if you do want our help, go to cannabisindustrylawyer.com, click on one of our Get Started buttons that are over there, and then please fill out this little form. That will take you to where we're at, and that is this version of the New Jersey cannabis laws. They will be coming. There will be new ones and regulations. And then eventually we'll have one of these episodes where we'll go over the application in and of itself. That's going to be an exciting time. It appears that the first ones that are going to be there are the cultivators, which makes sense. You need supply before you have a retail. Illinois flipped that. And so kudos to you, New Jersey, for getting the supply online first. And it also appears that there's going to be a lot more opportunity for the supply, depending on how they do the cultivation license regulations. So let's see what the cultivation license regulations look like. There are going to be 37 operators that are going to be handed out. The micro grower license, what was it? Because there's ratios. So I'm going to talk to my team. We're going to make some visual graphics, which, because like pie charts would be fantastic for what's coming to New Jersey, simply because they're carving up not only the tax revenue, they're carving up the license numbers. There's 6 license types plus a micro business license type. You could make charts and graphs on this. They'll be compelling. We'll drop a logo, maybe the collateral based logo, maybe the cannabis legalization news logo. But anyway, tune in on Wednesdays, on Sundays at Cannabis Legalization News. Get your questions for New Jersey either in the comments or get them to cannabisindustrylawyer.com at our Get Started page so that we can ask you what's going on. And I'm just going to check the comments real quick. Wish Oklahoma had delivery. Yeah, but Oklahoma's got a lot going for it besides the delivery, bro. It's all right, man. All right. Exactly why legal states have a black market. Yes, but with what New Jersey is trying to accomplish with their micro grower license, I have a good feeling about it. Let's see what happens on that. If you guys have any questions, please do email me at tom@collateralbase.com. If there aren't any questions, there really aren't. It's just comments. It's just comments, guys. Thanks so much. Hopefully you guys all have a great weekend. Congratulations to New Jersey for passing it. And now the regulations begin and the administrations, and into the amendments is where we're at here in Illinois. Talk to everybody soon. Oh, wait. If I'm going to go out, I'd like to say, hey, it's been about 20 minutes. You know what that means?